maybe haven't seen the pictures. And the reason why this is really important is when we understand what's going on for somebody, it helps us to help them, and it also helps us be helped by them because we know what's happening and we don't have to make any guesses about what's going on. So you might have some questions, and I love questions, but can you just ask me at the end, because otherwise I'll lose track of what I'm talking about. Is that okay? Yeah. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so Matilda had a big word thing. It's called encephalitis. It's a big, hard word to say, and I'm going to be telling you all about that today, okay? Is this how I go? Right. So, just before Matilda's birthday at the end of May last year, she was happy and healthy, just like the rest of us, and she was planning her slumber party. And there was lots and lots of kids around our street who had a really bad headache and a sore throat and a cough and cold. So we didn't think too much about it when she first started to feel unwell. But she got really sick. And one morning she woke up and she couldn't walk properly and she couldn't talk properly. So we raced her off to the hospital. Now, when Matilda arrived in the hospital, they found out that she had this virus called encephalitis, and it attacks inside your brain. And the part inside of Matilda's brain that it attacked is where her language, so listening and talking is, and where her memory is, and where all the stuff is that you learn at school. You know, your reading and your writing and your maths, okay? Now, we don't know how Matilda got the encephalitis, but we definitely know it's gone and nobody can catch it off us. So don't worry about that. It's gone away for a long time. Okay, so she was very sick.
Goodness, all those tubes.
Yeah. Now, when Matilda was first in hospital, she had to have a nurse by herself, just for her, nobody else, every hour of the day, 24 hours a day. She couldn't talk, she couldn't walk, she could hardly move, but we were really lucky because she could breathe. Some people in the area of the hospital that she was in couldn't even breathe and needed help with breathing, but Matilda was good at that, so we were really lucky. One day, when she had to go and have a test, Matilda hated having her face washed and her hair brushed. She had things called sensory issues. And when she had to go under an anaesthetic to have a test done one day, we said to the nurses, is there any chance you can brush Matilda's hair? And she came out of the operating theatre with her hair all beautifully braided up. That's how nice the nurses were. They were really lovely. This is a picture of Matilda having a test. Can you see over here, there's a whole lot of squiggly lines on this screen? Now, Dr. Marty over there, he reckons he could work out what the lines meant, but he couldn't really. It takes a long time to study that. What this thing is doing is there's little wires that are sort of stuck with glue onto Matilda's head, and it's making sure that all the electrical currents in Matilda's head, because there's electricity in our bodies, is working right, because she was having big seizures, and this was making sure. Does anybody know what a seizure is? What is it, Don? What is it, Chris?
Kind of like when you faint.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you faint. Sometimes you see people having, they can have epileptic fits and they can sort of be moving around. You might have seen, I know that there's been some people have them in the playground. Well, that's electricity. It's electricity doing funny things in the neurons in your brain. It was a great time for Matilda to sit around and watch lots of television because she had to be there for a long time. And Matilda and I are going up to the hospital in a couple of weeks' time to have another one of these tests done. So she needed that. Now, Matilda had to have a tube that went down into her tummy because she couldn't eat and drink and she couldn't take any medicine. So she was getting lots of medicine through her veins, but she was also getting medicine through her tube. And it was this was a very big deal this day because it was the day that she was able to get the tube taken out, and that meant we could go home. So that was fantastic. That was really exciting. But not everything in hospital was horrible. Almost every day Matilda had volunteers come and play games with her. I think she cheated rather a lot, but we didn't tell the volunteers about that. We had lots of beautiful therapy puppy dogs come and visit us all the time. And sometimes if Matilda was asleep, I had a cuddle with the dogs because I really liked the dogs coming too. Matilda even starred in the hospital is so big it has its own radio and television show, and Matilda starred in one of their shows all about having a celebrity chef come in and make cupcakes with There's the chef and there's Matilda. Okay, so that was really good fun. But you know, when you've had something like encephalitis, it does leave a little bit of a scar on your brain, and you have to relearn all the things that it took away. And it takes a long, long, long time. One of the first things Matilda had to do was learn how to use the right side of her body because it had stopped working. And most people write with the right side of their body because that's their strong side. Not everybody, but most people. So this is her doing some physiotherapy in bed before she could even walk. And this is when she was learning to walk with her physiotherapist and with her occupational therapist. This is the room where all the kids used to come and have breakfast every morning in the rehab department. And when Matilda first started learning sounds, she couldn't say sounds anymore, so we had to give her pictures and we would teach her signs. So this one is coughing cow. We go coughing cow, and that's how Matilda learned to say her speech sounds again, by doing the gestures. Dirty dog, so she had to learn all of that. And when she first couldn't talk, she used to draw pictures, and this was a picture she drew to ask for her white bunny teddy to be bought from home. So she's been working really hard for a really long time while you guys were in school. Wasn't just all sitting around. These are all the books that she's been doing. They're called Kumon, to learn maths and spelling and reading. And you know what? Who did homework during the school holidays? Some people. Matilda was doing 3 lots of homework almost every day through the whole school holidays.
There's a lot of books there.
That's not even all of them. That's just the beginning. So she's been working really, really hard all through Christmas to learn. And you know what? When you learn to talk, she had to learn to talk. She had to say all the words she had to learn. Action words, colours, days of the week, body parts, all kinds of words. She had to practice them all to relearn them all. This is a game that we played where Matilda had to match the pictures and the words to the body parts on the doll to learn how to say eye, face, back, neck, teeth, all those words. Okay, so Matilda's been practicing at the beach. She's been practicing at home with the kids from our street. She's been practicing everywhere. But since she got out of hospital, she's also helped at the Christmas dance concert with the little ones, which was really fantastic. She's gone to her uncle's farm and had a great time playing on the farm. She's been swimming in a life jacket under the waterfalls. Did anybody else go to the waterfalls this summer?
Is that Kiln Falls?
Yeah, that was
there
great,
for a
wasn't
couple
it?
of weeks.
She's been having play dates with somebody from the class and some of the other kids. Our lovely Sia here came to the hospital all the way through the time that Matilda was in hospital. We went camping at Mount Warning, and she's done about 4 trillion gazillion billion cartwheels. So she's very, very good at doing cartwheels. But you know, all of this work can make you very, very
In a
sleepy.
wheelbarrow, Matilda.
Yeah. Now the tricky thing about Matilda and what's going on is that, going back to this picture, talking and listening and thinking is really, really tiring for Matilda's brain. But swimming and doing cartwheels and zipping down slides is really, really easy for Matilda's brain. So that's the reason why Matilda's only coming to school for 2 hours a day. Because what do you do lots of at school? Yeah, lots of listening, lots of reading, lots of writing. If Matilda could cartwheel all morning, it would be okay. She could probably spend hours here, but it's the listening and the thinking and the talking that's really, really tiring. Okay? Because that's where the scar is on her brain, that part of her brain. Okay? But what we'd really all like you to know is that talking is not the same as what you know. Matilda's still really smart. This hasn't made her silly. She knows heaps of stuff. This is a game called Othello that you don't have to do talking. You have to flip the pieces over. And she's beaten just about everybody in our family. So watch out if you start playing games with Matilda that don't have to have too much talking, because she's very, very good at them. So sometimes, and Matilda's friends who are in this room know this, sometimes Matilda can't find the right words. Sometimes when she's telling longer stories, she can get a bit jumbled. And sometimes when she's trying to remember things, she can get a bit jumbled. And she's still really learning how to do her reading and writing and maths. But there are lots and lots of ways that you can help her. This is the part, Chris, where you really need to listen carefully. Because Matilda's going to be a great friend of all of yours in the classroom. So, when Matilda's trying to tell you something, just give her a bit more time. Don't ask her lots of questions. Let her take her time to get her words out, okay? If you find that she's having problems and you can't quite understand, it's really fair enough to say, can you show me? Can you give me another clue? Because Matilda's really good at that, okay? So once, for example, she wanted to have her tomato sliced and she went like this. Well, like this. And it was really easy to work out what she meant. She wanted sliced. She didn't want it in those little, quarter bits. So just ask her to give you another clue. And if you think you might know a bit about what she's talking about, you can give her a choice. Did it happen at the pool or at the beach? Do you need texters or do you need pencils? Was it on the weekend or during the holidays? And then bing, she'll be able to let you know. C is really good at this. Okay, C can show you the ropes. Okay, so the other thing is try not, if Matilda's with a grown-up, like Kathy or Miss Whitney or me, try not to talk to the grown-up instead of talking to Matilda. So sometimes people come up to me and I'll say, Matilda will be here, and they say, did Matilda have a good holiday? But you can just say to Matilda, did you have a good holiday? So make sure you talk to Matilda and not the grown-up person who's with her, okay? And remember, just keep asking Marty if he's at the school, or me, or Miss Whitney, or Kathy or Brooke, or anybody, any questions, if you have any questions about either what has happened to her or about how to help now. That's it. Has anybody got any questions?
I'm sure there's lots of questions. Just wondering if
That's okay, they've all gone shy.
we all actually need thinking time. So I think there's a question.
So Matilda was in, yep, hey Kayala.
Did Matilda still understand what was happening and what happened to her when she was in the hospital and couldn't walk?
When she was there or now?
When she was there.
No. When she was actually in the hospital, so she was in hospital for 3.5 months, she only, the whole of winter, the whole one term. When she was actually in the hospital, she didn't remember too much about what was going on because she was so crook. But now she knows heaps about what happened. Shyla, did you have your hand up, darling? No? So I've forgotten your name.
Helen.
Hi, Callan. What did you want to ask, darling?
Did he know Did he know that the virus was happening?
At the time?
Yeah, at the time when he was in hospital.
No. Which is kind of maybe a good thing when you're really sick, if you don't know that it's sort of happening because you're...
Because then you don't get scared.
That's a, I don't know your name, but that's a really, really good point. Yeah, if you don't know it's really happening, it can't sort of frighten you at the
Because I'm
time.
really scared because my cat and wife died from a python.
Oh, well, there you go. That would make you scared of pythons.
You scared of snakes, are you?
Yeah. Sia, did you have something you wanted to say, darling?
If you know what's happening,
Guys, I can't hear Sia. Thanks.
if you know what's happening, then you start to panic and go crazy. But if you don't know what's happening, you stay calm.
That's true. But then, right now, it's really good that all of you know what's going on because it's really, really important with Matilda and with lots and lots of other people that have talking difficulties that you don't think that they're silly because they're having problems getting their words out. And you all know that now. It's just that they have to be relearned to now come out. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how creative you are. It's not about whether you can ride a quad bike or go down waterfalls or any of those sorts of things. It's just your talking. So, and you all know that now. And so you can help Matilda with her talking and remember that she is still just like all the rest of you in all those other ways.
And do you know what? When we were doing that sheet yesterday about things that you wanted to do better, and some of you said better at maths, some of you said want to learn more about space, and Matilda wrote, do you remember? What did you write?
like saying,
Yeah, better at talking. She wants to be better at talking. So Matilda knows where she needs to work on, and you know where you need to work on, because you all gave me answers as well.
And so, yeah, some people think that it's hard to see what Matilda's working on because she's so strong and healthy and cartwheely. But she's very cartwheely.
Obviously very tough.
But there's still lots and lots that she's working on. She's working very, very hard. So I think that's it. Unless anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, I better go back and do some more speech therapy with somebody else.
Well, thank you very much for coming in, Nicole and Marty. Let's give them a big clap for coming in doing that.
And you'll be seeing us around in the classroom sometimes too.
And I think as a class we can all be a great support for each other, Matilda, but also each other, everybody, and all help each other, which is great. You know, that's what a classroom's all about, being a class and being a unit. So, yeah.
It's fantastic. Thank you for listening, everybody, so beautifully. What a fantastic class you are.
They are
I'm
a lovely
very
class.
impressed already. I might have to get Cara to untangle me.
And the rest of you, like we practiced, can